Hi friends! Welcome to episode 22 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. As usual, I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida. And thanks for spending some time with me today. If you are a returning viewer or a new viewer, those are kind of the only two options that you could be. But whichever one of those categories you fit in, thank you so much for coming to hang out. Today I have a variety of different crafts that I'm going to talk about on this episode, and let's jump on into it. This is the first episode of the year, so Happy New Year, Happy 2018. I hope that each of you had a wonderful holiday break or holiday time, whatever, words, right? I am actually filming outside today, and there is no fear of chasing the sun or running from the sun or whatever. So I'm kind of excited about that. I have a plethora of things spread out around my feet. So let's start out with things I have finished. First, I found my Flying North socks that were lost last episode. I was like, I knew that I packed them, and I knew that they got in the car, but I could not remember where in the car that I packed them when we came back from Delaware. Come to find out, I put them in the bag with the dog food. What? So here they are. Now they have been worn, and they're a little bit big for my sock blocker, so I've got a sneaking suspicion I have the wrong size sock blockers. But here they are. There's one, and here's the other. So I am so proud of these. They worked up really quickly. I didn't extend the patterning onto the foot. Like, I believe that the patterning goes down to the toe in the original pattern, and this is Flying North by Maria Monska. I believe that the pattern goes all the way down the foot, but I just wanted to do it on the leg, so there it is. Short row, wrap and turn heel as usual, stockinette foot, and my favorite rounded toe. Look, see, look, what is that? So I found them, and I did have to be quiet. The dogs are outside with me as well. When I found them, I did have to wash them because when I wore them up in Delaware, it rained. So they got like rain wear, and you definitely want to wash that. So yeah, found those. My next finished object that was actually finished after the last episode and it wasn't lost is another pair of socks. They are my Christmas tree Nebula Socks. I have worn them to work, which is why they're all baggy, but I loved them. This was my first time doing a true afterthought heel. It was scary, but as most things are, it was definitely not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I mean, pretty much after you cut the yarn, it's like you either do it or you just have a hole in your sock. Those are your only two options. So yeah, let me show you the pretty heel. So there is my afterthought heel. I'll show you this one too. This one, I just feel like, I think really the red yarn may have bled a little bit, like when I was wearing it. Not sure, so I'm a little bit scared to wash these, if I'm honest. If it's hand-dyed yarn and it's bleeding a little bit, can I like reset the yarn in vinegar? Like, how does that work? If somebody knows, please let me know, because I really want to keep these as red, white, and green and not pink, red, pink, and green. I mean, if that's not too much to ask of the knitting universe. So yeah. What else can I tell you about these? They are super comfy because this yarn, it's by String Theory Colorworks, I think is what they're called. And this yarn is actually a sport weight. So it's a lot squishier than my other sock yarn, or that the sock yarn I normally use. So these are super comfortable, and I've worn them a couple times already. Kiva, Kiva, come back here. Gotta keep an eye on the girls. So yeah, that is the only finished object that I have to show. And of course, when I finished those, I wanted to cast on something else, but I also wanted to like kind of organize my stash and like make a plan for the things that I want to make, because a lot of times I will finish a project and then pick like the next thing I'll do. So it kind of ends up being a little willy-nilly, or I end up with a whole lot of vanilla socks or something like that. So what I did was, oh, actually I guess I have another finished object. Where is it? It's right here. I finished my knitting notebook, or my project notebook. So this is the notebook that I keep all of my show notes in, and notes for the different products or projects that I'm working on. Just all kinds of crafty things, like notes for patterns that I want to write or that I am currently writing. Like nice, like little happy mail bits that I get from friends online. I got that from Melody. Isn't that cute? So yeah, I filled up the whole notebook, and I actually have started a new one. And y'all, starting a new notebook, I don't know why I get so stressed out when I start a new notebook. Like even when I was like regularly drawing and sketching and stuff, when I finished the sketchbook and it was time to start the new one, that first page is always like, so all that to say, oh, this is my my rounded toe sock pattern or whatever. So these are the decreases and the increases that I'll do. Like if I'm going toe up, my increases. If I'm going cuff down, my decreases, for 64 stitches and 60 stitches. And I just wrote that on the back of the notebook so that I always have it with me. I'm working on memorizing it, but to be honest, if I don't have to, then why? So I've started my new notebook. This is my new notebook. It is a dotted, like a dotted, just, you know, like dotted paper. I got it at Michael's. So yeah, so what I did, getting back onto subject, bringing it back in, I went through my Ravelry queue, or not queue, my Ravelry library, and I also went through my yarn stash. Not my whole yarn stash, because I have a whole lot of like red hard acrylic and stuff that I want to make a blanket. I haven't made a blanket in a long time, but focus, Kalisha. So I went through my wool, yeah, and my sock yarn to see what I had, what I wanted to make, because I have a lot of single skeins, as you can probably imagine. So I went and like laid out everything, and then I matched up projects or yarns to patterns, and like said, okay, this is my like my knitting queue. I guess that's what you use that function on Ravelry for, but I don't use it. Whatevs. So I put here the pattern name and the designer, and then the yarns that I want to make that pattern out of. Yeah. And then I've also done, I made these kind of layouts for project notes that I'm currently working on, like work in progress. I'll have the start date, the finish date, what yarn I use, the tool that I use, and then any notes for the pattern. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing so far. I'm kind of being inspired by all of this bullet journaling, but we'll see if this, continues to work for me. I also did a layout for all the make-alongs and knit-alongs and stuff that I want to participate in. So I need to update that list because it's actually quite a few. There's like 3 or 4, I think, that I want to participate in. Look, it's a tootie. So yeah, let's go on into works in progress. I have 2. The first being a pair of socks, and the second is a shawl. This is, okay, here's the pair of socks. I'm making it out of the leftover yarn from my Flying North socks. This is Dance With Me Beast by Yarn Cafe Creations, and it's 75/25. Yeah, superwash merino nylon. So I have that. And then the other color is this hand-dyed green yarn that I did, and it does not have a name. I've just been calling it That One Green because this is the green yarn that I dyed after seeing like this particular kind of greeny, yellowy, heathered kind of color on a couple podcasts, and I was like, oh, I love that. So this is That One Green. So I am using these together, and I am knitting a pair of nerdy socks. And I showed them to my husband and I said, okay, can you figure out what it is? And he was looking at it, and he's such a kind of analytical and deep thinker that he started putting in meaning to these stripes deeper than it actually was. I was like, no, you're thinking too hard. Just look at it. So here it is. And this stripe is not done yet. So if you are a math nerd or anything like that, you might recognize that this is the sequence of pi. So I have 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, blah, 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 blah. And it's gonna go, I think, one more stripe of yellow, and then I'll do the heel, and then the foot will be all in That One Green. So I had to write out my digits of pi so I didn't mess anything up, and it's actually going up to that particular digit of pi equals 80 rows, which is a nice length that I like on my socks. So that's the first pi sock, and I'm super excited about it. Being that this is all that I have left, I was considering doing a reverse for the second sock, but I think I'm gonna have to leave it the same because I don't want to run out of the yellow. So I'm excited about these. I want to do another nerd set of socks in the Fibonacci sequence, and there was a third one that I wanted to do, but I can't remember what it was. But definitely want to do my pi socks. I'm going to finish my pi socks, and then the next nerd sock I'm going to do is going to be the Fibonacci sequence. But yeah, so these are making me very happy. And when Lamar realized what the number sequence was, he was like, oh, that's so cool. So that also made me happy. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. It's just a regular vanilla sock other than, alternating the stripe color. 64 stitches, 2x2 rib. It's a German twisted cast on, 2.25 needle. They're my Chiagu what are they? The mini twist sock minis, whatever. They're interchangeable, which is kind of funny because I only have one tip to go with this cord, so I don't think it really counts as interchangeable. But yeah, so these have been a joy to work on, and hopefully they'll be done soon. Those are put away. Put them over there. The next work in progress that I have, the next work in progress that I have is I guess you could call it a test crochet. It is actually another puppy love shawl, and this is the puppy love shawl that I'm wearing. This is a design that I came up with last year. And, oh, sidebar, look at the shirt my little brother gave me for Christmas. It's Cynthia. Anyway, so I wrote up the pattern for this, so I am now crocheting my way through the pattern just to make sure that it makes sense. And this is how far I've gotten, and I am ripping out stitches, y'all. Oh Lord. I'll just, one moment please. Okay. I'm doing this one in 2 colors. Hold it like this. Ooh. I'm doing this one in 2 colors. So you have the solid bit, the lace, another band of solid, the crochet brioche, and then it's going into another lace. So on the back side, you have the other color of the crochet brioche. So this is how it will work up if you, I cannot hold things. This is how it will work up if you use just 2 colors. And then this is how it will work up if you use 3 colors. Well, 4 technically, because I have 1, 2, and then the back side of this is a different color, 3, and then 4. So, I don't know. I think color-wise, it would be best to do this top bit. Can I hold this? This top bit in 1 color, your crochet brioche in 2 other colors, and then the bottom bit in the same color as this one. I think that's how I want to do it. But I'm not ripping this out. I'm going to finish this. I just have the lace, a little bit of the solid bit, and then the edging to do. And then I'll probably make another one when I have finished the pattern and then it's ready to go out to the lovely testers who volunteered a few months ago. Ooh. So yeah, that is my Puppy Love Shawl 2. So far so good on the pattern. It's making sense, and the hardest thing for me when I'm making something from a pattern that I wrote is to follow the pattern and not follow what's in my mind as I know what I wrote. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's that. I am working it up in Patton's Classic Wool DK Superwash. I got it on clearance at, where? Joann's. Yeah, at Joann's. This is the Aran colorway and the gold colorway. And yeah, almost done with that, so that'll be finished soon, and then it'll just be a whole lot of writing. Let me get myself put back together. Okay. Oh, I'm crocheting it with a 6mm hook. Judy. Shh. And that's all of the works in progress that I have. All 2 of them. Now, the next section, I was calling it like needle and hook adjacent projects, but that's kind of boring. So I have retitled it to a slightly more interesting maker plans. just a little bit more interesting. So like I was saying earlier, I made a list of all of these patterns that I wanted to make, and I paired up the yarn that I have in my stash with that project, put it in a project bag. The only thing I did not put in the bag was like the needles or the hooks or whatever. So I have 1, 2, 3. There's a couple more that I set aside as well, but those aren't even going to start soon. That's down the road. So let's start with this one. So, and all of these are Quirky Monday Crafts project bags. This one is a fabric that is close to my heart as a lover of space things. You guys already know if you've seen me gush about space before. This one was one of the first ones that I made when I was learning how to do them. Candy corn, because I love candy corn. I just have to be an adult when I'm eating it and not eat too much and make myself sick, because I've done that before. So, oh, I guess I should tell you what size they are. This is the medium size. This is the large size. This is, Kalisha had a bunch of extra fabric and made just a bag size. So, in my large bag, I have yarn for the Chasing Blizzards shawl. And I feel that that's appropriate because a lot of, the country is snowed in right now. And we actually had a cold snap down here in Florida. It got down I don't know, 30s, 40s maybe, like a week or two ago. And I mean, it was cold. But I mean, comparatively speaking, of course, not like Montana cold or Delaware cold, but still. So I want to make the Chasing Blizzard shawl, and I'm going to make it out of this yarn. Both of these are Cascade. This one is Cascade Heritage Wave in the Plume colorway. And then this is just the Cascade Heritage in a gray. So I'm going to be putting these together in the Chasing Blizzard shawl. I'll put the information at the bottom of the screen, of course. This, I think, is going to be the next thing that I cast on. Probably when I finish the Puppy Love shawl, I'll go ahead and start this one. But I'm really excited about that. I really love this. Hello, ant. You don't belong in there. I really love this colorway. It's so pretty. Look at those colors. So, I got this one from one of our local yarn shops, the Barn Yarn, which is one that I talk about a lot because it's just so pleasant to go in there. So I got this there. And then this one was actually yarn payment from one of my friends. Last year, she gave me this and another ball of yarn when she and her husband went up to Connecticut. So this is from Connecticut. It's like souvenir yarn for somewhere I didn't go. But yeah, this was payment for hemming and taking in his pants and doing some alterations. So I'll be putting those together. Excited about that. The next one is in here. I actually have two projects in here, but only one of them has a plan. This yarn is Happy Fuzzy yarn. One moment. Yes. Happy Fuzzy yarn, Cory sock, 75% superwash Corriedale wool, 25% nylon. This is in the color Tree Frog, and I got this from the Four Pearls Yarn Shop in Winter Haven, I think it is, Florida. This yarn is going to be a pair of Devil Snare socks. Yeah, Devil Snare by Erica Luder. Information at the bottom, of course. But I haven't started this yet because this is going to be for the... Do you mind? This is going to be for the So Perfect Pearls spring along that she's hosting, and I think it starts on either the 14th or the 15th, so I'm just waiting to cast this on. And it's going to be, like I said, a pair of Devil Snare socks. I want to knit more pattern socks this year, because last year I did a whole lot of vanilla socks, working on my like my sock recipe, and I think I have it down like right in there. So I want to do more pattern socks. So these are going to go into that knit along, and then it's also going to go into Tommy of Squirrel Pie Productions pattern sock knit along. So hopefully get the good double dip with this. So yeah, I have my needles. I'm using, as usual, 2.25 millimeter. That's US size 1 Chalgu red lace. And yeah, so those are going back in this bag, waiting for their time to be cast on. I also put this yarn in there. This is, oh man, I lost the tag. This is Plymouth Yarns. There's a Splash 100 Happy Feet Splash 100, maybe. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I'll figure it out and I'll put that at the bottom. But I also put this aside for socks, and they don't have a pattern selected for them just yet. But I do know it's going to be another pattern sock. And just guys, I need to just accept that these are the colors that I buy. Even though I want to branch out, these are the colors that like make my heart sing. I feel like I say that a lot. Like, I need to accept my color palette. I need to accept my color palette. So yeah, those two yarns are set aside for socks. And the last one is going to be for, it's another spring along, but it's like a spring garment cowl. So you can only do a garment. And this is being hosted by Zakia of the Lady Wing Crafts podcast. And this one is starting, I think, around the 14th or 15th as well. So I'm using this yarn that just came into my stash. This is the Succulent Fibers that I showed you on last episode in the Strawberry Thrift colorway. Me and this pink, right, y'all? I am going to be making the girly knit bra top. Oh yeah, I was right. The girly knit bra top. So it's kind of like a spaghetti strap fitted kind of tank top. And I figured that would be perfect for spring in Florida, because spring in Florida is pretty much summer everywhere else. Tootie. Kiva. The neighbor's dog just came outside and they're about to lose their minds. I'm sorry if you had on headphones or anything like that. Tootie's hair standing up on her neck. Tootie, get back over here. You ain't gonna do nothing. You either, Kiva. Girly Knits bra top. It's getting cast on. So basically next week is going to be like the week of cast ons. Hi. Do you want to say hello to the people? Your feet are dirty. And you stink. But I still love you. She's like, okay, fine then. So yeah, those are all of my maker plans. Like my fiber related maker plans. I do have some other craft related maker plans. So this is kind of going to make sure that's it. This is going to kind of straddle between maker plans and stash position. So for Christmas, my in-laws gave, I don't know if this is supposed to be for me and Lamar or just for me. I'm going to say it's for me and Lamar because I'm a nice person. But we got this for Christmas. It is an art school watercolor painting, like how-to box. So it has all of these goodies. Look at all the things. So I am going to learn to watercolor paint. Primarily because I want to paint galaxies. The end. So yeah. So we have this. And then I also went and I got a watercolor paper pad for practice. And I'm pretty sure I have one of these already, but I'm not sure where I put it. So if anything, I'll have lots of paper to mess up on. So yeah, that's going to be something that I'm going to delve into. I don't know when I'm going to do this, but it's going to happen because I used to paint. Like when I was in college, I did a lot of not abstract painting, but just painting. I had like my little paint kit. I would take my things out. I would go sit in the middle of the field. I'd put my headphones on and my music, and I would just paint. And I miss that, you know? Just like I miss sketching and drawing and all of those other artistic outlets that are in my my toolkit, that I'm like, my toolkit's back there. All of those artistic expressions and skills are in my toolkit as a maker and as an artist, and I don't flex them enough. So I definitely want to do that, is like flex as many of my artistic skills as I can this year and just put it all out there. So I'm going to get back into watercolor painting. I might go back into like acrylic painting. I don't know yet. The sky's the limit. I have so many craft supplies in that house. I can pretty much do anything. So that's another maker project that I have kind of on the horizon. I also, oh, am I losing my shawl? I also bought this because I really want to actually learn how to properly do brush lettering and not just like writing Kalicia's cursive handwriting. And I realize a lot of times I don't know how the actual like brush letter font is written. So I'm going to, you know, start practicing with this. It's 122 pages, 35 worksheets. So this should be good. So there's some examples of the worksheet pages. And I got this from Michaels. Like Michaels has picked up the hand lettering trend, and they are going in. Like they're like, hey, Michaels shoppers, we have a whole line, a whole aisle of hand lettering supplies just for you. Like there's pens and like calligraphy pens and brush tips and all kinds of stuff. Like I walked in that aisle like, but I had to be a responsible adult and I only got this one. And I used a coupon because savings is good. So yeah, that's another thing I'm going to learn this year. Well, I won't say it's going to be something that I learn this year because I know how to do it. It's going to be something that I improve on this year. I think that's the only thing that I had crossing over from maker plans to stash acquisition. So now it's just straight up stash acquisitions. I say it like there's a lot. There's not. It's not a lot. But I do have some fun stories. So the first stash acquisition came all the way from England, care of Amy of the Stranded podcast. Now from I think it was September to December, she was hosting a festive sock along and I participated and actually won a prize. Side note, I have never won prizes in anything. So like the fact that in the last year I've actually won things, just because I've never not a winner. So it just makes me so happy on the inside. But the prize that I won was this yarn. This is from Yellow Door Yarn Company. And this colorway is called Snowstorm. Really pretty. And of course, blues and greens. Blues and greens. And then this one is called Eggnog at the Office Party. And I showed them to my husband and he laughed because I don't like eggnog. Okay, I don't think I can actually say I don't like eggnog. I don't like the idea of eggnog. I don't like it that it's called eggnog. Like, just saying that makes me want to go, I think I tried it once and it was just like too thick. Can't handle it. So he laughed. But that's Eggnog at the Office Party. And they're both 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And this is their platinum sock base. That's the word. So I got those. There was also a project bag, and I put it somewhere with my other project bags and I can't find it. So there's like a project bag party happening in the house somewhere and I was not invited. So I'm gonna put a picture of it so that you can see what the project bag looked like. And it's super adorable. It's a drawstring bag and it has ornaments on it. The fabric is with ornaments. And it's like a sock sized one, so I might hold that one and use it in July and do like a Christmas in July thing. Or I might just use it anyway because I'm a renegade and I do what I want. So yeah, that's that. Aren't they pretty? Pretty, 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 pretty. Just look at that. It's like teals and turquoises, and there's like little shots of like a lime green or a chartreuse in there. And I feel like the dyer was super restrained with the chartreuse bits. Like, can you even see them? Like there's one there, there. Just occasional hints of chartreuse. I would not be able to do that. I'd be like, there, yeah. I can't. Light hand I do not have. So there's those. The next piece of stash acquisition that I have is from the So Perfect Pearls Etsy shop. Definitely go check it out because her color sense is so cool. This sock set, it's called an inverted sock set. I think that's correct. But it's basically two 50 gram skeins. And I think she was describing it as like do one sock or one skein for the base of one sock, the other skein for the base of the other, and then do heels, toes, and cuffs in the alternating colors, which would be really cool. However, I just did my experiment, if you remember, to find out how much sock I can get with 50 grams. So I'm going to do 2 sets of socks out of these. And this colorway is called Beach Bliss. It's a 75-25 blend as well. And they are just so pretty. See what I'm talking about with those colors, y'all? Just shades of blue. Oh, this is beautiful. And then this one has more green. There we go. Oh, so pretty. I guess I can, oh, that one was pretty much right. So I'm really enjoying these. I love seeing them in my stash. I'm not going to cast these on yet because I just want to like hoard them for a little while. The last 2 things, fiber related in stash acquisition, have a funny story. So, as I mentioned earlier in this episode and last episode, Lamar and I went up to Delaware for Christmas. And it was a great trip. Yeah, had fun, family, surprises, joy, and Christmas and Kwanzaa, hooray, right? So then we come back, and I'm scrolling up Instagram, and I see one of the people that I follow on Instagram was like, oh, I just went to this new yarn shop in Delaware. I was like, no, I could have gone. So I go to the yarn shops like Instagram, and I'm like scrolling down their pictures and just sadly looking at it. And I look at the address, and it's in Sanford, I think. No. Anyway, I look at the address, and it's like a short distance from where my mom lives. So I was like, oh man, I would love it if my mom could go to the shop and get me something. I was like, no, that's kind of extra. I can't call my mom from Florida and be like, can you go to this yarn shop and get me yarn and send it to Florida, because I didn't get to go when I was in Delaware. And I put it outside. I put it out of my mind. And then like a couple days later, I'm scrolling, and there's this thing that's like 70% off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to. So I like screenshotted it, and I sent it to my mom, and she says, I guess you want me to go? And I was like, yes, please. And I sent her like I sent her Bitmojis and things like that. And I sent her this one that was like pretty please, and it was like the little girl was dressed as a cupcake with a cherry on top, and it said pretty please. And so she laughed, and she says, okay, I'll go. And this was before the blizzard. So the sale was going to be from like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And she's like, okay, I'll be able to go on Friday, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, cool. Wednesday, blizzard hit. Inches upon inches upon inches of snow. And I was like, she's not going to be able to go. And I was like really like sad. And so Thursday, like she snowed in, school's canceled, everything was canceled. And then I was talking to her, and she was like, is the yarn shop open? I was like, I don't think so. Everything's like snowed in up there. Like I said, Mom, don't even worry about it. It's not that deep. And she was like, okay, well, let me know if they're open tomorrow. So I was like, okay. And like on the inside, I'm like, yes! But you know, I wanted to be like, it's all right, Mom. You don't have to go. It's okay. So they were open on that Friday. So I called her, and I was like, hey, they're open. So, but I said, if you don't like want to go, or if like roads are still crazy, don't go out. It's okay. It's just yarn. I'm cool. It's fine. And she's like, don't worry about it, girl. It's good. Big difference between the North and the South. In the North, they'll have like this much snow, and it'd be like, just let them plow it one good time. In the South, they'll have this much snow, whole city shut down. So she was like, oh, it's fine. I'll go. Send me the address. So I sent her the address, and she goes to the yarn shop. And oh, before she went, she was like, well, what kind of yarn do you want? And I was like, well, nothing like really expensive, just like a bright color sock yarn. And she was like, okay, I'm probably gonna mess up. I said, okay, well, go in there, find somebody that works there, and say, I want to buy some socks, some yarn for my daughter. She knits socks and needs a bright color. She was like, I can do that. So she goes in and she's like sending me pictures. Now, everything that was on the sale was like, it kind of looked like red heart acrylic, to be honest. So I was like, that's not really what I'm looking for. I was like, oh, but then I felt bad because she like braved the storm to go to the yarn shop. And she was like, well, they have this other yarn and it's not too expensive. And I was like, okay, I can handle that price. That's fine. So she gets me 2 and sends them. And this is what came. Had a little bit of tootie on it. So it's Trekking Sport, which even though it says sport, it's fingering, which is confusing. And they are wonderfully bright. It's actually not as bright as it's showing on the camera, but I love these. I'm definitely, like I told her, I said, I'm gonna use these as like contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. I'll probably do some textured socks out of these. And since each one of these is a 100-gram ball, I'll be able to get socks for me and a pair of socks for her. So I'm definitely gonna make her something out of the yarn that she braved the blizzard and the elements for. So that's when you know that 1, your mom really cares about your crafty life, and 2, your mom is kind of an enabler. What you gonna do? So yeah, that's those. And that's the end of the fibery stash that I have. There's one more Christmas present that I want to share with you guys that my friend Tiffany gave me. And I don't even know if I can bring myself to write in these things. She gave me this notebook set. Like, look at that. Aren't they cute? I love it. And like, even looking at these, I was like, man, I would totally wear like both of those coats, that dress, that tunic. Like, oh, why couldn't you be real patterns? But there's 2 of them that are blank. Oh no, 2 of them are lined and 1 of them is blank. So these 2 are lined, and then this one is blank. And I just love them. They're super cute. Super, super cute. And she also gave me a shirt, which if you watch my Vlogmas, I think it was New Year's Eve? Day before somewhere at the end of Vlogmas, she gave me this shirt, and I opened it on there, so like my reaction is on there. And I love it. I love that it says never stop looking up. I love that it has the constellations on it. It is the constellations, or they are the constellations of the zodiac. And where's mine? I don't know why I thought this was gonna stay on my head, but I'm a Pisces, and I believe that's Pisces right there in the middle. Yeah, Pisces. So I asked her if it glows, and they don't glow in the dark, so I'm kind of tempted to get some of that puff paint and just like put dots of puff paint on all the stars, because what would be more awesome than a shirt with constellations on it? A shirt with constellations on it that glows in the dark. It's a no-brainer, right? I feel like they missed out. They should have made this glow in the dark. Yeah. So that is like everything that I wanted to show you. So I guess now I'll just give you a little bit of Callies life and whatnot. So it's a new year. On New Year's Eve, Lamar and I sat and made some intentions for the year. You know, things like being more active at our church, like me being more diligent about my Etsy shop and keeping that like going and being like proactive about that. Cooking at home, me cooking in general, you know, just things like that we sat and did, and it was really nice. It was a nice experience to sit down and actually set those intentions for the year with him, which is something we've never done before. And I do think I want to continue doing that throughout the years. I also made a like kind of a crafty goals list. I want to sew more. I want to sew knit fabrics this year. I've never done anything with knit fabric, so I want to try that, like maybe jersey or something like that. I want to, like I said, do more pattern socks. I want to actually write and release the patterns that I came up with last year. And I'm saying it like this because I'm going to look back at this video and I'm going to be talking to myself. Kalisha, get it together, write and release the patterns. Okay? That's all. So yeah, I want to write and release patterns that I have like in my books. I have a pattern right now, no joke, that is written and ready to go, and it's just chilling. So yeah, so what I want to do, I want to put my crafty goals. I think maybe I'll do like a brush lettering like piece of my crafty goals and put it inside like the front cover of my new notebook. I think that will be really nice. So yeah, that's something that I'm going to do, and I might do that tonight. We'll see. As you can see, the light's changing. I said I wasn't going to be chasing the sun, but it's trying to run away from me. But I just want to show you. Will you be able to see this sunset? Let's see. Oh no, you can't see it. Oh yes. Look at how beautiful that is. Ugh. Whoop, whoop. Sorry guys. Ooh, keep it together. Ah, okay. Sorry about that. I tried to show you the sunset and then bring it back and just kind of had a spaz out moment. But yeah, the last thing I want to share with you guys, this is going to be my first year doing like a one little word thing for the year, and I did a lot of thinking on what the word could be, because I wanted a word that meant basically share what you do, because that's definitely something that I want to focus on, is not only like doing all of this creative things and, you know, coming up with these projects, designing things and drawing things and learning things and creating like all of this creativity that I have that I'm doing like right here in my own little bubble. I want to not only do that, but I also want to share it out. And I feel like doing the podcast has definitely given me a way to share those things with other people, but I want to like do it more. And primarily because a lot of times when I think about putting something that I've made out there, I get that like that anxiety or that feeling or that voice in the back of my head that says your work isn't good enough, you know, or there's already somebody out there doing the same thing as you but doing it better, or nobody wants to see that thing from you, you know. So I'm wanting to overcome that voice in the back of my head that says those things. So I did a whole lot of like thesaurusing. Like, I started with one word and I was like, it's kind of boring. Let's see, what are synonyms for this word? And then I was working on, like, okay, what are the roots of this word, and blah, blah, blah. And I worked my way down to the word radiate. And when I sat down and thought about it, that is exactly what I want to do. I want to radiate my creativity. I want to send it out into the world. I also want to be, and it's something that I've said on here before, like, I want to be a bright spot of positivity, or a bright spot of happiness, or bring a smile to someone's face, or be a catalyst to share positivity. Like, these are the things that I want to radiate. So I thought that that word captivated my desires perfectly, and gave me, like, the flexibility within it to also encompass the other things that I want to do. So that's everything, guys. I hope that your 2018 has started off wonderfully. Let me see, what is a point, or something that brought me joy this week? I got to hang out with my cousin and my best friend yesterday. They were both in town for a conference, so I was able to see both of them, and it was real cool. We got to go down to the Orlando Eye. We ate at a really good Mediterranean restaurant that I didn't even know was there, which I need to get out into Orlando more and, like, do things. But I had a great time. It was really nice to see both of them. So, positive point, spending time with people that you love. Share something down in the comments of something that brought you joy this week, something that's brought you joy thus far this year. What are some of your crafty goals? Share them. Maybe you'll inspire somebody else to be like, you know what, I can do that too. So, yep. We have finished the episode. The sun has, like, just set. Like, the only reason that you guys can still see me right now is because we have, like, this daylight, like, keep the wild animals away light on the back of the house right now. So thanks so much for spending time with me, guys. Remember to subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Like this video if you feel like it, so that, you know, we can share it with other people and I can continue to be a bright spot. Yeah. Peace out. Don't you hate it when you put a straw in, like, a beverage, but it doesn't reach to the bottom? So, like, you like, know there's juice in there, but you can't get it because the straw is being stupid. Don't be stupid. Do you ever start dancing and then some random old song pops in your head, so you start dancing to that song but nobody else can hear it? That just happened to me. I don't even know the name of the song I was dancing to. Nope. But it's a good song. You just have to believe me.